The first time I looked at an oil pastel stick, I didn't even want to try it because I thought there was no way I could make anything close to realistic. I thought these were only good for abstract to loose paintings. I mean, have you seen how thick those pastel sticks are to begin with? I found out early enough that it's not that difficult to make your paintings look smooth and beautiful with oil pastels. To achieve a beautiful painting like this one, the first thing you need to do is watch this video till the end, then get that dusty box of oil pastels out and finally try them out and see for yourself. And if the stag for my painting is too intimidating, just try the background. Whatever you choose to do, I have to warn you, the child within you is going to love oil pastels and they get extremely addictive because they're so fun. Hi, I'm Françoise. Welcome back to my channel. Let's find out right now how to make a painting look smooth and beautiful with oil pastel. First, a quick overview of what I'm using. I have a pad of Clairefontaine mixed media paper. Anything a bit thick and smooth would do. Look for mixed media or paper for oil pastels. I use masking tape for crisp edges and to tape my sheet down firmly. And I have this box of 24 oil pastels by Art Philosophy. I do have a discount code for all Art Philosophy art supplies that you can find in the description of this video, along with a full list of my supplies. And to blend your oil pastels and make them smooth, all you need is a paper towel and some Q-tips, or better, some blending stumps. I'm going to explain and show you exactly how to use these tools next. I freehanded this reindeer on a separate sheet and I transferred it on my mixed media paper. I selected colors I think I'll need to achieve the same look as the reference photo I'm using. And now the first step is to start applying your pastels on the paper to cover it up. When you start applying the pastels, you'll notice, and you can see it right here, that there are plenty of bare areas still. It's hard to cover up everything in one go, unless we insist and spend a lot of time rubbing those pastels all over. This means that if we start blending our pastels right now at this early stage, they will get stretched out all over and it won't quite cover up the background. And because I know that from previous paintings, I'm not afraid to keep applying pigment on my sheet, and that's why you see me add other colors I spotted in the background from looking at the reference photo. In my photo, the background is a very dark green with some highlights of a lighter green, but overall it's really dark, so I applied green to begin with, and now I'm adding the darker shades, a dark green and black. And really at this point in the painting, the order of layering does not matter that much. I insist that what matters the most is to apply colors that do match what your reference shows you and aim at covering up most of that paper space, because once the initial layer is there, we can refine the colors. And actually, looking back, applying that light shade of green first was completely useless. A better approach would have been just to go with the dark colors and then add the lighter green over the top. I think my watercolor fundamentals of starting from light to dark were getting in the way, but now I'm fully switched over to the oil pastel approach. Now I'm blending those colors with my paper towel, and a paper towel is going to be the best for a large area like this. It's faster and we don't really need to do any details here, so it works. Notice, however, that I was careful to stay away from my sketch of the stag. We will fill those spaces later on. As you blend colors here with this first layer, you're going to see there are still small parts of the paper that keep showing through, which means there is still room for us to add oil pastels and fill in those little gaps in the tooth of the paper without running into problems like the paper not wanting any more layers. So now that initial layer is there, you need to take a look and think about what colors you need to add now to finish up this background. In my case, I see it's not dark enough, so I'm adding black. As I did previously, I'm very messy when I add it because oil pastels blend super smoothly and beautifully. So we really don't need to worry about that part. That's also why I think they're an addictive medium that reminds me of when I was a child just having fun with art supplies. I blend that and I keep adding my chosen colors until I'm satisfied. I find that it takes a lot of layering for oil pastels to become so slick when they're smoothed out that it will become hard to apply anymore. So don't be afraid to add colors, and if you need to add a much lighter one, it's okay as well. It will show a bit on a dark background like this, but oil pastels blend very easily and very light colors get easily spoiled by dark ones. So if you want very light areas in your backgrounds, make sure to layer light colors there right from the start, rather than dark ones and then a lighter one on top, unless you're using shades of the same color like we're doing here with greens. On to the Q-tips and blending stumps now. I want to show you here you can get more precise with these tools like I'm doing here when I'm filling in the gaps between the background and the stag. If you don't have a blending stump, you could try and make one with a sheet of paper. Otherwise, you can use Q-tips, although Q-tips are not my favorite because their tip is not as pointy as a blending stump and it makes it harder to get the details in. That's why I'm going to keep working on this oil pastel painting with blending stumps. You can see here I'm applying white oil pastel on those antlers and it easily gets spoiled by the green shade, but it won't show a whole lot towards the end, so don't worry about this kind of detail. Just like I did for the background, I keep applying my colors there on the stag, except I use more of the sharpest edge of the stick, and instead of using a paper towel, I use the tip of my blending stump. On the stag itself, I am careful to apply just white on those light areas, and I keep refining the painting with a probe of colors to make sure contrast is on point in this painting with light areas opposed to very dark ones. I'll show you a time lapse of this process here so you can see how it all comes together little by little, and we'll talk about a very important stage in a minute to make the painting look even better. Now all the layers are down and that everything is smooth, don't forget to add the highlights with your white oil pastel stick. For highlights to show, you'll need to smash the stick onto the paper pretty firmly for some pigment to deposit there, and to make your painting more bright and stunning. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please help my channel out with a like, a comment, or even by sharing this video with people you know would like to watch. And please subscribe and turn on notifications to be updated on my future tutorials. Thank you for watching and see you next time.